I met a gypsy.
Some of those sports are a little different because I'm not saying that there's no skill involved, but it's more about the engine than the
Yes.
skill, right?
Yeah.
Like, I always try to like portray that to people, whether they're downhill mountain biker or a motocross ride. Like, at a certain point, it doesn't matter how strong and how fit you are. If your lap times are 10 seconds a lap, I don't care how fit you are. You got a lot of other things you need to work on before you get to the fitness part of it.
And to bridge that gap, like, so for me, like, I would be a perfect example of that, right? So, like, this year, I trained all year to do the World Vets at Glen Helen. And dude, I was nowhere. Like, it was so bad. And but for me, I did good, you know, like I was fit enough to do all the motos. Like I was definitely got like tired. I wasn't like I was fucking super ready and at my peak,
Right.
But that's like a normal person doing an abnormal amount of riding, and I was running a bunch, and like, so in what I could actually physically do while keeping my life together,
Right.
I did.
Right.
And I was fucking nowhere,
Yeah.
you know? So, but then if you took that to the next extreme, which would be like, hey, Jace, there you go, all the Yamahas you need, full team bike, you can pit out of the truck, you can have a year to just train and get ready. I would still be nowhere.
Right.
Like, so the skill gap that you're talking about in our sport, and I think, well, our sports in terms of like mountain biking or when you're going down the hills, it's just so skill based, and it's almost not even skill. Like, there's just some like special talent that you've got to be able to go that fast. Like the level in downhill these days is just insane, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't matter what you did to my fitness, I could never be that guy.
Yeah. No, and I'm with you. I'm never gonna be, a cross country racer. It was never in my cards, right? Like, so I think people that want to be, something, whether it's, a bike racer or a motocross racer or whatever, I think there's, at some point you got to just go like, hey, I'm never gonna be at that level, right? Like, if you're running a 15-second 100-meter dash in high school,
Yeah.
you're probably never going to be an Olympic sprinter. This is not in your cards, right? You better pick another, discipline of running. Maybe maybe you need to be a marathon runner or a mid-distance runner or something. But you're not going to be a sprinter.
Yeah. What do you think about the talent that you'd see in, like, let's say the top level downhill dudes or top level moto? Like, you've seen both. Like, what does a person have that makes them special in the way that you're describing?
I think there's probably a few different things, but like this kid that I train right now, his name's Ryan Pinkerton. He's he's 18 years old. 2024 will be the first year that he is in the elite category. He's been in the junior category. I've known him and been riding with him since he was like 12. Since he was little, he was fast. Like, the first time I ever rode with him, I was like, this kid is fast, right? Like,
Yeah.
And so obviously now he's at the point where going downhill, I mean, he's way faster than me, for sure, like way faster. And when we ride trail bikes together, I know all these trails here really well, as does he. He lives here. But for the most part, I can still like keep him inside and keep pretty close to him, except for when it gets really gnarly, right? Like, when it gets to the point where it's like, if you don't hit that corner, or it's like you're threading the needle, or it's just, there's not a lot of room for error. I think that's where he really, excels from me. I think part of it is, I don't want to crash. Part of it is just I'm not at that comfort level. I don't have the confidence like he has. And then I think also it is maybe just the ability to process and read terrain at those speeds.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I'd love to just one day go on like a full neuroscience bender. Just have like an open budget to be like, all right, what's going on in a person's brain if we like really look at this? I don't even know how you'd look at it, but I'm sure and I'm convinced that I have the same feeling of, fuck, I need to hit the brakes, as what he does. It's just happening in a real different place.
Right.
So it's like, what is that? Is it, there's like these muscles in your eyes that stabilize your eyes, and it's like, does some people have like this, I guess, a better natural muscle function in those muscles, and it keeps your eyes more stable? Like, is there a time perception?
Right.
Like there's so many things that could be at play, and I bet there would be a common thread. Like, you could test Eli Tomac and then you could test him, and like there might be a range that they're in, and then maybe I'm under here and maybe you're just on, so it's like, I would love to know the specific categories of what is it, because it has to be something in the brain. Like, it has to be something that's going on mentally.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you. I think it's, it's a number of little things, right, that all add up to one. I mean, it's like when you dissect, lap times at motorcycles. It's like,
yeah, true.
It's unless there's a big mistake, it's not just one thing, right? It's like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little, and then you all add them all up, and you're like, there's their second.
Yeah, no, that's actually quite true as well. And it's like, it might not even be obvious as like just one thing, and it's like, it might be these tiny half percentages that are not even visible to the naked eye, because that has to be the level. You look at a lap time between Chase Sexton and Jet Lawrence. Like, SMX did some pretty cool side-by-sides at practice from the SMX rounds, where they had basically the same camera angles, like the exact, they started the stopwatch at the exact same time, and you could see this split of Jet and Sexton doing this corner, and it was like a different line by a little bit. The technique was different, like Jet stood up longer, whatever. And it was like the exact time.
Yeah.
So you just think about, there had to be something different that, they were doing. Well, there was a lot physically that they were doing differently, but then it's like, you couldn't even see anything, like, and then the stopwatch couldn't see anything. So it's like, how far would you have to go around the track to like visibly even be able to see something? We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com. packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.